knew that Ryan from The Office would be one of the types to write, direct, produce, and act in a absolute dark comedy that's thrilling, has some mystery to it, and overall it becomes one of the must-see indie films of 2022. This is B.J Novak's directorial debut, Vengeance. What's going on, buddy? Welcome back to a brand new movie review. Today we're discussing B.J Novak's directorial debut, Vengeance. It's about a radio host from New York City who attempts to solve the murder of a girl he was hooking up with and travels down south to investigate the circumstances of her death and discover what happened to her, while all at the same time creating his brand new podcast. Once again, written, directed, and starring B.J Novak, and also starring the likes of Isabella Amara, Grayson Barry, and even Boyd Holbrook, and even the likes of Ashton Kutcher, who I did not expect to see in this. Now, I was pretty excited for this when I saw that BJ was involved with this, because I'm a big fan of Novak. I think he is such a good writer when it comes down to all the little things that he's touched on, and the fact this is going to be his directorial debut was something to be excited about. And after seeing the movie, I'm very pleasantly happy to say that this is a must-see film for 2022 if you are a fan of indie, satire, kind of dark comedies, because this is a comedy that does go dark at times, and as well as very straight in the way that its delivery is going. It's not trying to tell a joke. It's not trying to do something that's slapstick. In a way, in every sense, this feels real to what is going on in today's society. It very much pokes fun at certain things, whether it's in politics or in real world or cultural events or just in general, different cultures around the United States, specifically in Texas and even New York City, and certain people that you've probably met inside your life before. But the other thing that it really touches on in just bringing humanity to people. And again, while jokes come off as funny, they play for straight comedy, and I really liked a lot of aspects in this movie, and I'm really excited to talk about this one. So if you are new here and you love talking movies, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as well as comment down below your guys' thoughts on Vengeance. Are you excited for this one? Are you not? It's coming in theaters this week, and again, it is a must-see indie film for 2022. So of course, with every movie review, I love talking about the best aspects of it, and that starts with the performances once and for all here, and that is B.J Novak's performance. He is great in here. He really gives some good emotional weight, and you completely forget that this is Novak for the most part. You actually come to agree that this is this Ben character and all the things that Ben is going about. But one of the subtle things that he does as a director as well, and this is tough to direct, write, act, and produce all in your feature film debut. For me, the thing that I was really fascinated by is, this is just about a girl that he was hooking up with. And, in a sense, it starts off with the story of, I'm doing this to gain a following, to do a popularity type thing, because I know this is something that could really blow up. I want to get into the podcasting world. But what it honestly starts to do, and it gave me elements of something from The Big Sick. But the biggest drastic change to this all is, in The Big Sick, if you've seen that, Kumail Nanjiani's character starts to fall in love with the girl while she's in a coma. Where in this film, B.J Novak starts to fall in love with a girl that he never really got to know. That he's getting to know now, investigating who she was, who her family was, where she comes from, and what there was to her. And there's a sweet sensibility there that feels real, because as us as viewers, as us as podcast listeners, and for people who are true crime junkies who listen to stories about people who may have had a big story, you come to fall in love with certain aspects of these elements, whether it is someone who has already passed away or someone that you don't even know. Us as viewers come to know that. And we've all had those kind of crushes in our lives, and I think it was very sweet, and I feel like you do feel the regret that he's feeling that, I should have cared for her. I should have gotten to know her more. And I think you start to see the way that his life starts to change throughout the progression of this movie. And I was really fascinated by that arc. It could have gone in a very cliche way, which I was really waiting for it to go. And even though it starts to go in a cliche way in the way that some of the things are handled with the family towards the back half, I just got to a point and I'm like, no, it makes sense. Like, this feels more real than you would expect, and I really loved how BJ was, as an actor, directing, and even writing, how he's able to bring that to life really felt to home and actually felt like it had heart to the entire story. And it was one of the things that actually latched me onto the entire story itself. Boyd Holbrook is awesome in here as well. He is absolutely hilarious, brings a lot of the great laughs and some emotion. Issa Rae is also fantastic. You can't deny that as well. Ashton Kutcher, I think some of his monologues are a little bit too long. We'll talk about that in my cons, but he's great as well. Ending it all is J. Smith Cameron, who plays the mother to this entire family. And honestly, she has one monologue towards the back half of this. Pretty much, when you look at it all, the last words of it all. And it really hits home for the entire story, and I really loved her performance. So continuing with some of my pros, I was really liking the cinematography, the tale of this. This film does not feel cheap. Again, this feels real. It feels like you're actually going on this podcast adventure to see where it's all going, and I just really like how they were able to create it and bring it to life and make it feel a little bit fresh. We've seen so many things like this. I mean, look at Only Murders in the Building. They're doing the exact same concept, but these both feel very drastically different in the way that they are approached. And again, very much appreciate that. This feels like a breath of fresh air at times when watching this film. And I just overall really enjoyed myself. Like, I don't have too many issues, which I guess let's talk about the minor inconveniences that I had throughout the movie. And that really just comes and touches to Ashton Kutcher's monologue. There's a couple monologues that go on a little bit too long, specifically with his character, that start to drag out the pacing a bit too much. And the mystery itself, I'll be honest, I kind of knew where it was going. I knew what was going to happen, and I was a little bit hoping it would be a little bit unpredictable, but I do like where the ending of the third act went. I think it made sense for the progression that you see Ben's character go on, and overall, I was satisfied with the ending. I don't think it'll work for everyone, but I will say that overall, I cannot wait to see what B.J. Novak does in the future. Overall, Vengeance is a must-see movie for 2022. This is going to go down as one of the more underrated ones that comes out this year, and a big round of applause for B.J. Novak's absolute great directorial debut. Loved the writing of this. I think the writing is very smart, satirical, and it's very straight-lined in the way that it handles all the humor, to where the humor feels real. It feels like something that if you went to a Texan family and you talked with it, and I have friends from Texas and I talk to them, and sometimes they do remind me of this. Even if they don't, it makes fun of also New Yorkers and some of the things that New Yorkers and just in general, like LA people do and the LA crowd does, and all of those elements felt so real. But at the heart of the story, you have the comedy, you have the mystery, you have even some of the thrilling aspects. But at the heart of it all, it is the progression of Novak's character that really latched me into this entire story, and actually seeing how he starts to come to fall in love with this girl, who he hooked up with and never really gave a rat's ass about. And I feel like that's something that a lot of people could learn from today, is just starting to appreciate and understand and learn more about people that you meet on a daily basis. Even if you don't have any soul connection to them, there might be something more to them that you didn't know. And I feel like that's something that we as human beings forget. But also in the same sense, we start to love things that we just hear about or read about or listen to. And those are elements that I wish human beings would actually touch on a little bit more. This film kind of hit me in like a soft spot, and I don't know why. It got me pretty emotional. Maybe it's just because I'm a sensitive person, but I really dug B.J. Novak's directorial debut, and I think a lot of you guys will as well. So with all that said, I'm going to give Vengeance a B+. So much again, guys, for watching this. Look out for a ton of other movie reviews, movie shorts, and all sorts of movie content over here on a daily basis. We got a lot of thoughts to come up in the next couple of days, and I can't wait to talk with all those with you guys. So, of course, thank you so much again for watching this, and of course, until next time, stay classy.